saw how the transportation takes place in animals, human beings, plants. Now the transportation has taken place. The food has reached the various parts of the body. But when it has reached the various parts of the body, there are some waste matter which is also formed in the body. These waste matters are formed in the form of urea or uric acid or ammonia in case of animals or human beings. In case of plants, there are some excretory substances like gums, resins, rubber, which are coming out in the form of waste products. Now, if the waste product is formed, is it necessary to remove the waste product, or is it okay if it remains in the body? It's very difficult for the body to adjust with the waste matter, because this waste matter contains urea, uric acid and ammonia as a major waste product which has to be sent out of the body. If they remain in the body, what might happen, that they may start producing toxic substances. Now, what are toxic substances? Toxic or toxicity, that means if the waste matter is left in the body, it starts producing poison, and this poisonous substances may create problem for the other systems to work functionally or properly. So therefore, there is a system which is known as excretory system in the different organisms. We are going to start with what is excretory system in human beings. So we are going to learn excretion in human beings. Now, as you all know, human beings have a proper excretory system in the body. Now, excretory system is present because it has to send all the waste products which is formed inside the body outside the body, so that they do not hinder in the metabolic activities. What is the various different parts, or what are the different parts of excretory products, of the excretory system in our body? I have drawn a figure which is showing the different parts of human excretory system. Now, as you see that there are two kidneys in the excretory system. Those two kidneys are the bean shaped kidney, like a rajma. It looks like a rajma bean. So these two bean shaped kidneys are present on the back side of your abdomen, not on the front side of the abdomen, but the back side of the abdomen, and it is present one on either side of the vertebral column. Now we have the hard bony structure which is called as vertebral column. On either side of the vertebral column, one right kidney and one left kidney will is present. These two are the bean shaped kidney or the rajma shaped kidney. They have two ureters, that means a pair of ureters. Ureters are nothing but the tube which carries the urine. Now this bag-like structure is called the urinary bladder, and through the urinary bladder the waste matter is sent out through urethra. So basically we have to understand what are the different various organs of human excretory system. It has a pair of kidney. A pair of kidney means two kidneys. A pair of ureters, that means two ureters which are coming from each kidney, and then one urinary bladder which is muscular and under the control of your nervous system, and then the urinary bladder is connected to urethra to send the waste matter out. This is the basic structure of human excretory system. Now the blood has to come from the arteries, because the arteries are bringing the blood from the heart to different parts of the body. Now it will bring, now this renal artery is bringing the blood to the two kidneys, and the two kidneys are doing the work of filtration of blood to remove the waste products. And then once the waste products are removed, now this kidney will send back the blood through this blue colored renal vein. I have drawn the renal vein in blue color so that you can identify. While coming, the renal artery is bringing the blood. While going, the renal vein is carrying the blood. Now we come to the detailed part. This kidney, if I take a vertical section of it, it looks like this. Vertical section means if I have a kidney, I'll just cut vertically. And that vertical section, if I cut, you can see that it is this shape. It has different parts. One upper part, which is muscular, is called as kidney cortex, and the inside there are branches. Number of branches are connected to various nephrons, and that branches are known as the kidney medulla. And here through this the ureter is coming out. This is the vertical section of the kidney. Now what is kidney containing? Now kidneys are containing millions of small bell-shaped structures. I have drawn this. What is that structure known as? That structure is known as a nephrons. This nephron is, number of nephrons are present in kidney. Maybe 1 million nephrons are present in kidney. These are the main parts which are actually filtering your blood. Now what is happening? The unfiltered blood is coming inside the kidney. Now this kidney is filled with nephrons. This kidney is filled with nephrons. Each nephron has a cup-shaped structure which is known as Bowman's capsule. It is called as Bowman's capsule, a cup-shaped structure. This cup-shaped structure contains a network of capillaries. A number of capillaries having a network. Lot of network of capillaries are there, which is known as glomerulus. It is called as glomerulus. This Bowman's capsule is connected to the tubule which is sending the urine out. So this is one structure of nephron. Our nephron looks like this. Like this, there are millions of nephrons. Now what's happening? The blood is coming inside the kidney through the renal artery. It enters the kidney medulla. In the medulla, there are number of nephrons. The blood is going inside this Bowman's capsule. In the Bowman's capsule, there is a glomerulus. That means the network of capillaries. Those capillaries are filtering the blood. That means they are removing the urea, they are removing the uric acid, they are removing the other gases which are present or the other waste which are not required. So that filtrate is taken out, and that is called as glomerular filtrate. Glomerular filtrate. That filtrate is removed, and the blood, now free from all this urea, uric acid, is again going out of the kidney back to the circulatory system. That means this filtered blood out is taken back by the renal vein into the body. Now what happens in the glomerulus? The glomerulus filtrate is formed. That filtrate is sent through this tubule. Now that filtrate contains all the watery substances, the other substances which has urea, uric acid. Now when it passes through this tubule, reabsorption of water, reabsorption of nutrients take place. Now what do you mean by reabsorption? Reabsorption means if any water is left, if any nutrient is left, it has to be again absorbed, and so it is again absorbed by this tubule. See the arrows which I have marked, it goes like this, and this, by the time it reaches this end, all the filtrate is removed, or the reabsorption has been done. And then after the reabsorption is done, the urea, uric acid and the other things, other waste substances which are not required are removed out through this tubule, and then it reaches the urinary bladder. Through the ureter, it reaches the urinary bladder. Now this urinary bladder is a muscular organ, and it is controlled by your nerves. That means your nervous system has the full control of your urinary bladder. You can actually control the urinary bladder for a longer time also. Now this urinary bladder, when it gets filled with urine, then your nervous system is telling the brain that it's time to remove this. So this is how it is controlled by nerves, and it passes through the urethra. This is the whole structure of excretory system in the human beings. How much blood must be getting filtered daily? Now a human being or normal human being have 5 liter blood. Now this 5 liter blood is actually getting filtered through this Bowman's capsule 400 times a day on an average. 400 times a day is filtered and the urine is made. But in a whole day, how much urine is made? Approximately 1 to 2 liters depending on the age. And that only is removed as excretory part. Rest 150 to 200 liters are reabsorbed by the body. So this is how the urinary system or the excretory system works in human beings. Now there are some reasons where the kidneys don't work. Now the reasons can be accidents, the reasons can be infection, or the reasons can be the kidney by birth itself is not working. So what happens to the human beings if the kidneys are not working? Now there is an option of kidney replacement also, but it's very difficult because we don't find the donors. So what to do? Now there is a system for such patients whose kidneys are not working. Their excretory products have to be removed out. Now how to do that? So they have machines attached to the body, and that is called as dialysis. This process is done for the patients whose kidneys are not working properly due to accidents or due to infections or any other problems due from the birth. So this dialysis is done for the patients whose kidneys are not working. The around 500 ml of blood is continuously being passed to the artificial kidney which is attached to the body, and that artificial kidney filters out your urea, uric acid and other waste material, and then it is sent back to the blood. So the blood is taken out slowly, filtered and again sent back to the blood. This is called as dialysis, or also known as hemodialysis. So hemodialysis is done only in the extreme cases where the kidneys are not working. There is another interesting fact. We have a pair of kidneys, that means two kidneys, but no human being can survive very easily even if it has one kidney. One kidney, if it is not working properly, the other kidney will take the full charge of doing this excretory system. So this is actually the human beings which we have two kidneys, but we can work with one kidney also. And the dialysis is generally done for the patients whose kidneys are not at all working. Both the kidneys are not at all working. So this was about the excretion in human beings. Now what about excretion in plants? Plants are also living organisms. There also some excretory subsystem must be there. But as compared to human beings and animals, there is no proper excretory system in plants. So is there like that there is no excretory products being made? No. Since it is a living organism, it will make some excretory product, but there is no need of any excretory system in the plant, as their energy requirement is less, as they are not moving, they are stationary, they have their own systems to throw out the excretory products. Now what do they have? Now as I said, during the transport of food and water, the transpiration takes place. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the removal of extra water from the stomata of the leaves. So the extra water comes out, through that whatever extra waste material is coming, that is also sent through the water out. That is one way. Secondly, you must have seen the dry leaves getting shed off. The plant is growing, but in between there are some dry leaves. You can see that they fell off some time to time. Now what happens? Why do they shed off their leaves? There are the excretory products must have got accumulated in that leaf, and that leaf must have shed off during the time from when they start drying off. This is one way. Many times rubber, latex, these resins, gums, these are things are formed in the plant. Huge plants, they will form gums, they will form resins, they will form rubber. Now these things human beings have started using it for their own purpose. So if you have seen any documentary, or if you have seen any rubber plant, the rubber can be extracted from the bark of the leaves. Actually this rubber and this gum is the waste product of the plant. Now there are some parts of the leaves and the branches which have certain vacuoles present in it, and those vacuoles also are having some excretory products, and they slowly through the transpiration they send out all this waste matter. Now if you have eaten some type of vegetables like suran, when we eat, it causes irritation in our throat. Now why the irritation is there? They have a chemical which is known as calcium oxalate. This calcium oxalate is present in the form of raphides. What are raphides? Raphides are the needle-like structures present in that suran. And then when we cut the suran and make a vegetable out of it, it might hurt your throat. So what is done? When we make suran, we add some sour things to it, like lemon or anything sour which can reduce the Raphide's action. So this calcium oxalate which is present in the suran is actually the excretory product of the plant. So plants have their own way of removal of all these excretory products, and this some of the excretory products of plant we are using it, like rubber, resins, latex, gums. Even the oils, that means the oil coming out from eucalyptus or from vegetables, they might contain some waste product of the plant, but we are making use for our benefit. So these are the some of the things where the plants can utilize or plants can use to throw out the excretory system or products from their system. So plants do not have a proper excretory system like human beings, but they have their own way of removal of waste products. So these were all the systems which we have studied in lesson 10th, life's internal secrets. So in this chapter we have seen so many life processes which are actually taking part in your all biochemical reactions which are happening in your body, your metabolic activities which are involved. All these systems are interconnected to each other. So what have we learned in this lesson? We'll just have a look over it with the concept map. Living beings are of two types, animals and plants. Now both animals and plants are undergoing various types of life processes. These life processes can be numbered. In fact, we can say there are 4 to 5 life processes which are important to understand. First is nutrition. Now nutrition in plants, it can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophic means those which have the ability to prepare their own food. They are generally plants. And heterotrophic nutrition means they are not able to produce their own food, but they depend on other organisms for making their food. So they are called as heterotrophic. Now autotrophic organisms, that means the plants, they undergo a process which is called as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means making of food with the help of sunlight. Photo means sunlight, synthesis means making food. So making food in the presence of sunlight, they use the raw materials carbon dioxide and water. Now once they are making use of these raw materials, they will make some type of products which are carbohydrate, basically starch or glucose is formed along with the oxygen which is evolved. Now this oxygen is utilized during respiration. This was about the nutrition in autotrophic and heterotrophic organisms. Now in the nutrition in animals, what happens? It is totally heterotrophic. That means they are totally dependent on plants and other organisms for their nutrition. They cannot prepare their own food. The main nutrition is carried out by the alimentary canal. Now the alimentary canal is the canal which is actually starting from your mouth to the anus, having different diameters, having different organs. This heterotrophic nutrition also is assisted by some glands which are producing enzymes through liver and pancreas. So these forms the whole digestive system in your body. The nutrition was about heterotrophic and autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic, we talked about plants, and heterotrophic, we talked about the human alimentary canal or the human digestive system. Second type of life processes which we learned was respiration. The respiration is taking in oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. Where is oxygen utilized? Oxygen is actually utilized for breaking down of food to release energy. So this respiration in plants take place through stomata. Now what is stomata? Stomata are the small pores which are present in the lower surface of your leaves. And this stomata, once they release the carbon dioxide and oxygen, they continuously respire through stomata, and they produce carbon dioxide, water and energy. And this energy is utilized for the various activities of the plants. Now in the respiration, when we talk about human beings and other animals, there are different types. There are two types of respiration which we studied: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means the respiration taking place in the presence of large amount of oxygen. So this aerobic respiration in human beings or in higher animals takes place through lungs. Now we have lungs in the thoracic cavity, that lungs are involved in the aerobic respiration. So when we have large amount of oxygen, the aerobic respiration takes place and the products are carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now these lungs have small balloon-like structures which are called as alveoli. Now what is the function of alveoli? Remember, alveoli have the balloon shaped structure and therefore they are able to absorb more of oxygen in the lungs. Now this anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the some type of organisms, maybe yeast, and you also see in them in the fertilization and the fermentation part. So what happens in anaerobic respiration? The products formed are, instead of carbon dioxide and water, the products are formed alcohol and carbon dioxide, but the ATP which or the energy which is released is very less, and the energy released in the aerobic respiration is quite high, around 38 ATP or 38 adenosine triphosphate. So this was about in short what we studied in respiration. Now we'll see what we studied in the other types of life processes, that is transportation and excretion. So we are going through the concept map of this lesson where we have studied various life processes. So the third life processes is transportation. Now transportation in plants, it is done by two methods. One is root pressure, second is transpiration pull. Root pressure is generally seen during the daytime and more during the night time, where the transpiration doesn't take place. And the transpiration pull is created by the water loss from the leaves and the branches. When the water loss is there, it makes a big suction pull towards upper side, and the water goes from the roots to the upper part of the plants. These two takes place through the vascular bundles which are known as xylem and phloem. Xylem is responsible for transport of water and phloem is responsible for transport of food. Then transportation in human beings or animals. What happens? Transportation or circulation happens through blood and lymph. Mainly we have studied about blood. This blood is pumped by the muscular organ which is called as heart. This heart is pumping the blood continuously to the body through arteries and veins. So this system is called as circulatory system or simple circulation. Circulation is done by heart through the blood and that is sent to the different parts of the body. This was about transportation. Then once the transportation has taken place, once the food has reached, there are bound to form some waste products, and that waste products have to be sent out through the system which is known as excretion, or the system involved is excretory system. In the excretory system, in human beings and animals, it is done by the two bean shaped structures which are known as kidneys. And those kidneys have number of millions of nephrons or small tubules having a cup shaped structure which is called as Bowman's capsule. These nephrons are involved in filtering the blood. They will have nephrons and these nephrons filter the blood. The blood is filtered and the urea, uric acid and pneumonia and other waste is sent out as urine. And then when the blood gets filtered, this blood is carried through renal vein back to the heart. So this is the excretory system in animals or human beings. What about the excretion in plants? Plants do not have any special organs for excretion. They do it by different ways. They either shed. Now what is shed? The dry leaves, the dry branches break off. So leaves, flowers, bark, branches, when they become dry because of the accumulation of waste, they shed off. Secondly, the waste products can be stored in their blood system. Now they don't have blood, but they have a sap system. That sap will have the excretory products in them. Then they also lose carbon dioxide through diffusion, and this diffusion can take place either in the air or in through the roots or in the soil around the roots. So this is how the diffusion takes place in plants. So as you see, there is no special excretory system, but there is the excretion in the plants also. This was about the whole life's internal secrets, and we have learned so many life processes which are interrelated to each other.